So yesterday we we looked at expansion and factorization. So it was expansion and the factorization. Factorization of algebraic expressions. So first of all, I said that expansion, it is just from the word expansion, just refers, like you are trying to increase the terms of the algebraic expression. So when you try to increase means you are expanding the algebraic expression. And then we said for factorization, we actually said that for it is the opposite of expansion, whereby for factorization, you're trying to shorten the algebraic expression in terms of its terms so that the terms are not many, whereas when you expand, you are trying to make the terms of the expression to become many. And so we defined a definition of expansion. We said that it is the removal of brackets. Said it is the removal of brackets from an algebraic expression. That's how we defined it. And we say that we shall find out that when we remove brackets from an algebraic expression, its terms increases. The terms of the expression, we find that they will increase. Now, we also looked at ways of how to expand. Okay, ways or methods of expanding algebraic expressions. So one of the ways was single term multiplier. Now under single term multiplier, we found that you have a bracket and you have a single term outside the bracket, and when you expand that single term outside the bracket, it enters the bracket. And we looked at some examples. Okay, so we said that under this specifically, the single term which you have outside the bracket is entering the bracket. And we looked at, for example, if you have, someone can say expand 5 into x minus 3. Just simply as this. Now a single term multiplier, the single term is this 5 here. You can see it is just 1, it is single. So it is entering the bracket here. And we say we have expanded the bracket. Now when it enters the bracket, we say it is going to multiply itself here and also multiplies itself here. But we say that you have to take note of the sign. Sign is negative, so it is going to be maintained, which therefore becomes 5 into x minus 3. This one will be 5 times x, because you said it multiplies itself on x and also multiplies itself on negative 3, which is 5 times x minus, we maintain the bracket, comes 5 times 3, which therefore we said 5 times x is 5x minus 5 times 3, which becomes 15. And so we have expanded. That's one of the examples that we looked at. Then we said you can also have, if we look at another example, we said you can have, still we are expanding using a single term multiplier. You can say expand, and you have a into a squared plus 2ba plus 3. Still we have a single term multiplier because the one outside the bracket is just a single term and is entering the bracket. Now when it enters the bracket, we say it is going to attack this, will attack this, will also attack this. So when it, remember the brackets, signs in the brackets have to be maintained. They are plus plus, so we must maintain the plus plus. Now when it enters, say it will attack here, which will be a times a squared, plus the sign is maintained, which becomes 2ba times a, then plus 3 times a. Okay, now this one said will be a squared is because we said a square, if we have 4 squared, we say it is 4 times 4. So it is 4 times the other 4, that is the square of 4. Now likewise here, if we have a squared, means it is times a, then plus 2 ba times a plus 3 times a. Now if we have a times a times a, it becomes a power 3, or a emirundi esatu, which is a power 3, then plus 2 a times a becomes a squared, then plus 3a, and therefore say that our answer will be a cubed plus 2ba squared plus 3a as our answer. Now another way of, because the first one looked at a single term multiplier, now another way of expanding, which we called Roman numeral 2, we called expanding brackets and squares. Expanding brackets and squares. Now under this we say that here you will have a bracket and you're multiplying another bracket. So when you have a bracket times another bracket, we look at how to expand so that you remove the bracket and just have terms. Now I said if we look at examples, we have example 1, we can say expand 2x plus 3 into another bracket 3x plus 4. So you can see these are 2 brackets here that we have. There are 2 brackets, but we want to expand them so that we remove the brackets and you just have the terms increasing. So you can see there are only 1, 2, 3, 4. There are only 4 terms, but when we expand, we are going to see the terms doing what? Increasing. Now, we said that this first term here, okay, the first term is going to multiply this bracket, every term in the bracket, and also going to multiply. So the first term 2x will multiply the first term in the bracket and also this other term in the bracket. In other words, this term here multiplies everything in the bracket. Likewise, this term here is also going to multiply everything in the bracket here and here. But remember, you have to take note of the sign. So when 2x, so we said identify the first bracket, but from the left, and then you multiply going to the right. Now this 2x here multiplies the bracket first. So this is going to be 2x multiplies the bracket, which is 3x plus 4. Okay, it has multiplied the bracket there. Then plus, maintain the plus here because there's a plus here, so it becomes plus this 3 also multiplying the bracket, which becomes 3x plus 4. So you can see that the first term here is multiplying the bracket plus. If it was a minus, we'd put a minus there, but this time it is a plus. So plus 3 times the bracket, which is 3x plus 4. Now we expand as usual. When we expand, this one expands here. It enters the bracket and also enters this. So it is going to be 2x times 3x. The 2x is entering the bracket the way it is, then plus 2x times 4. Okay, so 2x times 4, which is 2x times 4. Then plus 3 times 3x, which means it is 3 times 3x. Then plus, because of the plus inside the bracket, this is a plus, so it is maintained 3 times 4. 3 times 4. Now when we evaluate, when you simplify, this is 2 times 2, 2 times 3, which is 2, so I can correct like terms, 2 times 3 times x times x. Okay, it is 2 times 3 times x, which is this one here. Then plus 2x times 4. So 2x times 4, it becomes 2 times 4, then times x, plus 3 times 3 times 3, then times x, plus 12. 3 times 4 is 12. Now this one will be 2 times 3, which is 6, times x, this is x squared, which becomes times x squared. Okay, then plus 2 times 4 is 8 times x, which becomes 8 times x, plus 3 times 3, 9 times x. Okay, then plus 12. So this one will be 6 times x squared, which becomes 6x squared, plus 8 times x becomes 8x, then plus 9x squared. No, it is 9x, not x squared. It is 9x plus 12. Okay, now this one is said will be equal to 6x squared. Now we correct like term. This is 8x plus 9x. So 8x plus 9x should be equal to what? I think 6 what? 16. Yeah, 17 actually. It is 17x plus 12. And we shall have expanded there. So it is 16x squared plus 17x plus 12. Remember now we are expanding brackets and square. Now, what about if I have expand? If I say simplify or expand, let me actually say simplify. Someone can give you 2x plus 3 then squared. This we said that if you say consider 2x plus 3 squared, we say I want you to look at it in this way. If you have 4 times 4, we already have said that this actually means it is 4 squared, isn't it? Or if you have 4 squared, this should be equal to 4 times 4, because that's what we have said. Okay, so that if you have maybe 3 squared, you know this should be 3 times 3, which is equal to 9. So likewise, if I have 2x plus 3 squared, okay, this one should be able to tell me that this is 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. Just like we have 4 squared, which is equal to 4 times 4. So if you look at the bracket being 4, you can see 4 is being multiplied by itself. Likewise, if the bracket is squared, the bracket is being multiplied by itself, which therefore becomes 2x plus 3 into 2x plus 3. Now, if we expand, now we said this 2x is going to multiply here and is also going to multiply here. Then this 3 is going to multiply here and is also going to multiply there. So now it means that I'm going to have this 2x times the bracket, which is 2x into the bracket, which is 2x plus 3. Then plus 3 into the bracket, which is 2x plus 3. So now that is where I am. Now that means that this 2x is going to enter the bracket here. This 3 is also going to enter the bracket. But remember, we have to take note of the signs. So 2x times 2x, which is 2x times 2x plus 2x times 3 plus 3 times 2x, then plus 3 times 3. Now this is going to be equal to 2 times 2, then times x times x. Okay, then plus 2 times 3 times x. X is there. Then plus 3 times 2 times x. Then plus 3 times 3, which is 9. Okay, now this one is going to be 4. 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared. Plus 2 times 3 is 6 times x, which is 6x. Plus 2 times 3 is 6 times x, which is 6x, plus 9. This therefore will be 4x squared plus 6x plus 6x, it becomes what? 12x plus 9. We have expanded, and we looked at that as a square of bracket. Then we said someone was actually, then one of you asked the teacher, if you have a plus b squared, that can't I just say that this 2 comes here and it comes here, so that becomes a squared plus b squared? And I said, if you ever do this, a mathematician who is near you will laugh at you, because this one is not equal at all. So we said that these are not equal. So if you do this, this is very wrong. But according to our knowledge of expansion, if I have a plus b squared, it means that I have a plus b times a plus b. Just like we have 4 squared, which is equal to 4 times 4. Now, if I have a plus b squared, it should be equal to a plus b times a plus b. That is it. So now, if I have therefore a plus b into a plus b, now I expand as usual. It means that this will be, you get this a here times the bracket. In other words, a will multiply here and here. Then b will also multiply the bracket like that. So it means that now I have a into a plus b. So a is multiplying the bracket, then plus b times the bracket also. So plus b times the bracket, which is a plus b. Now this means that this is going to be now a times a plus a times b, then plus b times a plus b times b. Now this one will be a times a, we said is a squared, plus ab, because a times b is ab, then plus ba plus b times b, which is b squared. Now there was a contention here that if you have ab plus ba, what do you get? But remember, if I have 4 times 2, this is equal to 2 times 4. In other words, multiplication has no order. So it means that if I have a times b and someone has b times a, these are the same, these are equal, because this will be ab and this will be ab. So likewise here, if I have ab plus b, it means that this is a squared plus ab plus ab, because they are the same, plus b squared. But I have 2 ab's, these are 2 ab's, which will be equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared as the answer. Okay, so our answer becomes a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So I'm going to give an assignment. Maybe one of you should expand. What about if you have a minus b squared? In the assignment that I'm going to send, I'm going to put it there. If you have a minus b, remember now this one will be a minus b times another a minus b, because remember we are borrowing the fact that if we have 2 squared, this is 2 times 2. So I want you to look at the bracket being 2 then squared, means it is the bracket times the very bracket. That is what we are doing. So first look at that, and then we shall share later.